Hi, I'm Bjorn, movie archaeologist, and welcome back to the Temple of Movie Reviews. And with me today, we've got a special guest. Why, it's Critic Round, my little critic sidekick. Hey, how you doing, Critic Round?
What are you calling me?
Critic Round, like Critic and Round, it's Punish Short Round, like Indiana Jones.
That's White Short Round.
Well,
That's we agreed on White Short Round.
We cannot call you White Short Round.
We agreed.
We agreed it was racist.
I signed.
We agreed it was racist.
No, we did not. We did not agree to that.
Critic Round is what we're going with.
No, we're not.
So with me today, I've got Critic Round. Yeah, we're going with Critic Round. We're going with Critic Round, right? White Short Round? It's racist. It's racist. You're fired. You're done.
You can't fire me. I quit.
Okay, get the fuck out. Get out of the Temple of Movie Reviews.
It's all fake. It's all fake.
It's a real temple. We're really there. Get the fuck out. I don't ever want to see you again, alright? You're dead to me.
Take your damn hat.
Oh my god. Alright, I guess we'll just start that over. I mean, fuck was that guy's problem, man? Hi, I'm Bjorn, and I am the movie archaeologist, and welcome to the Temple of Movie Reviews. Today we've got an artifact. Oh, it's the Barbie movie. It's part 2 of Barbenheimer. Get excited. And I've got a lot to say about the Barbie movie. Positive, mostly positive. And one big nitpick I'm going to get into at the end, which is maybe controversial. I can't really tell. We'll see. So, thoughts of the movie at first. This is one of the funniest movies I have ever seen. Straight up, no jumping around it. It is raucously funny. I cried laughing multiple times. Ryan Gosling is just a riot. In fact, Ken kind of steals the whole movie. He's incredible. Margot Robbie is also very good. She's very funny. She does a lot of emotion. The movie is it's almost effortlessly funny. It'll just change and pivot what it's about and still remain funny the whole way through. I don't think there's a single moment at any point in this movie where I wasn't entertained. The set design is spectacular. The costume design is spectacular. The directing is really good, and the writing is, on the whole, really good, especially in the joke department. I feel like almost all the jokes landed for me. There's a few stinkers, a few duds, specifically some of the political jokes that are in the movie that feel a little more aggressive and less funny. They don't really land for me, but that doesn't really matter. I don't think they were for me. All in all, I found this movie to be really, really, really funny, and that's all I can really say about it, because the marketing was so ambiguous for this movie that I wasn't sure what it was going to be. So there were some people saying it was going to be like a dark drama. There were some people saying that it was going to be a lighthearted comedy, and it falls somewhere. It kind of tries to be somewhere in between, leaning much more on the comedy for me. And the movie takes a lot of weird, ambitious risks. It openly ridicules Mattel constantly in a way I thought was pretty funny. I can't believe they kind of got away with that. There's a lot of really good stuff in the movie. And then it ends. The last 15 minutes of this movie fall apart. I mean, I think the whole movie falls apart. And I'll get more into that in spoilers, but to say it vaguely, there is a political message built up to in this movie, in my opinion. And I thought I knew where it was going. I thought I knew what the message they were trying to deliver was. And I was actually impressed that a movie would deliver the message they were going to deliver. I thought it was a message of equality, actually. As I watched the movie, that's kind of where I thought it was going. I felt like the whole movie built up to that. And again, I'm going to do a big spoiler section because I got to explain my thought process on this and how I thought the movie was trying to make me feel one way. And then the movie pivots against that way and expects the audience to go along with it. But the movie did such a good job at making me feel one way. When it tries to go another way, it didn't work for me at all, and I got upset about it. And that specifically revolves around the character of Ken, the secret protagonist and hero of the film. I'll say it, man. Ken is amazing in this movie, and I felt so bad for him nearly every time he was on screen. And the movie, I feel like it has to have purposely done that, right? But then the ending makes you think that maybe they didn't. I don't know what was happening here. But the movie... Alright, I give up. Spoilers. We're going to do spoilers. Go see the Barbie movie before you watch this. I like it. It's funny. You'll probably have a good time, regardless of where you stand on anything. The movie is really funny, and people seem to be enjoying it in my theater. So, I mean, that's really all there is to say about it. So, spoilers. You've seen the movie now, or you're just watching this because you don't care. the movie builds up Ken to be this really sad guy who I feel genuinely bad for throughout almost the whole movie. It was actually amazing that they made me feel bad for the Ken doll. His only purpose in life is to be Barbie's, boyfriend, her like little accessory that you add with Barbie. No one cares about Ken. Multiple people all throughout the movie say, we don't care about the Kens don't matter. And their whole purpose is to be sidekicks to the more important Barbies, the female characters in the movie, in the Barbie world. And I thought for sure what was happening here was that they were setting up the Kens to be like women in the 1940s. Like they're less important than their male counterparts, and they don't have a purpose outside of them, and they're only there to look nice, and only when the women care about them to be there. And that would be then compared to the way that men are treated, and that maybe at some point in the movie, the Barbies were going to come to a realization. This is, again, I might sound like I'm taking crazy pills if you haven't seen the movie, but I swear this is not subtext. This is all in the movie. And I thought maybe the Barbies were going to realize that when they realized the patriarchy is bad in our world, that they were going to realize that it was also bad in their world. But the movie doesn't do that. When the Kens take over, the movie presents this as a bad thing. And it is a bad thing. For any one gender to be in control is a bad thing. I think we can all universally agree on that. I think that's a pretty widely agreed upon thing. So what I thought was going to happen at the end of this movie, I was so with it. I was like, oh my God, they're going to do a really based ending where they say that both races need to, or both genders need to work together to coexist, and that they need to rule together, right? That like no one side can be in charge, or else it's unfair to the other, right? And I was like, wow, what a based opinion. But no, the movie doesn't do that at all. Instead, it does the opposite. It has the women come out on top and subjugate the men, and then makes a bunch of jokes about how they were subjugated. And all I could think is, what the fuck? Like, that was my genuine reaction. I was like, why would you, what? Because the movie did such a job of setting up that the Kens were like a lesser class. I don't know how else to describe it. They're like, Ken literally talks about how he doesn't have anywhere to stay when Barbie's not around, and how he has no purpose. And the movie does address this at the end, which I loved the scene with him and Barbie talking to each other, but it still felt weird on the whole that they were like not letting the Kens into a position of governmental power. So basically this movie was like trying to be feminist, and I get that, like it works. But then they do the same thing that men did to women, to the men. And you're like, well, hey, you guys didn't really get the message at all. You didn't get the idea. Like, this shouldn't be on either side. And so it felt like a very strange choice to me, because the movie did so many moments where they seemed to be self-aware that the Kens were mistreated. And again, I'm talking about the Barbie movie, guys. You should probably be looking this far into it, but I couldn't help but think about these things while watching the movie, because it did a good job. Like, there's a moment in the beginning of the movie where Ken wants to stay over at Barbie's house because he's in love with her, and he wants to spend time with her, and his whole existence is her. And she says something like, sorry, this is girls' night only, and she sends Ken away. And then later in the movie, when Ken's supposed to be the bad guy, he says something like, sorry, Barbie, boys' night only. And I clapped. I was like, oh, hell yeah. So the movie is doing this. Like, look, Barbie, you're no better than the Kens. You're acting like they're the bad guys, but they're not doing anything you didn't do. And she sort of has this realization, but then the movie does this really great emotional moment where they sort of have this conversation and realize that they were doing this to each other. And then it undercuts it by making a bunch of weird, like, almost like revenge jokes, like, oh yeah, and no men are going to be allowed in our government, and yada, yada, yada. And it just felt like they had an opportunity to make a really, really interesting statement about the way society currently is, where it's either one side or the other side, and instead both sides should come together. And this can be for men and women, this can be for various races, this could be for anything, different political parties. We should come together in unity. And the movie instead presents that we should do the opposite of that. And I couldn't imagine if this was reversed. Could y'all imagine? Holy God. It would be bad. And it's a shame, because up until this point, I really thought the movie was pretty good. And I still think it's really good. I just thought the ending was really ham-fisted. But that's only one of the ham-fisted endings. The other ham-fisted message is the tidbit about Barbie becoming a real person at the end. Didn't work for me at all. I don't know what it was going for. I kind of like the talk between Barbie and the creator of Barbie, but somewhere in the middle of that, the whole metaphor gets muddled, and I kind of lost where it was trying to go. And maybe I'm just not smart enough. That's a very real possibility. But I just felt that was also kind of ham-fisted to me personally. I felt like the movie was trying to get too heady for its own good and trying to get too philosophical, and it almost went into smelling its own farts territory. Didn't quite cross that line, but it really felt like it was heading there. And these were definitely the weakest parts of the movie to me. I think everything else up to that point was really funny. I loved when the Kins took over. I love how they named everything the Kingdom. Oh god, it's just so funny all the way through. And then there's that ending, and I just think the ending really detracted from the movie quite a bit for me. Alright, spoilers over. Those are my opinions on it. I feel like there's going to be a large subset of people who probably agree with me. Maybe I'm off base. This is just my opinion. But all in all, I really like the movie. I think its comedy shines above. It's very witty writing and very good acting. I think this is definitely an awards contender. For sure for production design. If this doesn't win a production design award, something's off, because this movie looks spectacular. Like, the sets are really over the top and fun, and everything looks great. The costume design is also really good. So yeah, I'm going to give Barbie, I'm thinking an 8 out of 10. If they had maybe worked on some of those issues with the script I talked about in my spoiler section, I might have gone to a 9 for this movie. In the great Barbenheimer debate, boy, they are so different, aren't they? It's really hard to compare to them. On the one hand, this movie is probably more entertaining than Oppenheimer on a sheer, like, laughs level. Like, I had more fun watching this, but Oppenheimer's the better movie. I think that's pretty clear. I think everyone will come to that consensus. I would recommend seeing both of these. I actually felt like both of them are very good in their own right and might kind of become classics in their own right. Like, the Barbie movie is shockingly good for a movie about Barbie. And if you're a Ryan Gosling fan, you're going to have a lot here. He gets a lot of screen time. He arguably steals the whole movie. In fact, his portrayal of Ken is so good that I would, like, almost call it, like, iconic, like, already. I'm probably going to see this one again. I'm excited to see it again, despite my qualms with the movie. And I felt like this was a win. I think this is a pretty good movie. And, boy, Mattel, I can't believe you let them get away with some of the stuff they put in this movie. But on the whole, good choice. Give directors, freedom to make something interesting, and then they make something interesting. Even though I don't agree with some of the moral decisions presented at the end of the movie, I can still see that it's the director's vision, and I'm glad that they got to put it on screen how they wanted. So yeah, I'm going to go dwell deeper into the temple now and look for more movies. I think it's going to be a while before we get another screening. The only thing we've got coming up is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I do have tickets to. So you guys can look forward to that. I got a new Harry Potter writing series coming out sometime this week, so go ahead and catch up on that if you haven't yet. And if you're looking for more reviews, you can check out my Oppenheimer review and other reviews on the playlist for Advanced Screening Adventures. Alright guys, see you in the next one.